Amanda the Lioness Nunes is the most successful female fighter in MMA history, but the secret behind her success started in an unlikely scenario that included aggressively sparring with her future partner. But first, Nunes didn't grow up dreaming about being a UFC champion. Let's see what her childhood dream really was. Number 8. Amanda Nunes' early life. Born in Brazil, Nunes grew up dreaming of being a soccer star like most Brazilian kids. When she was 4 years old, her parents split up and she moved in with her mom and 2 sisters. To support the family as a single parent, Mrs. Ivete sold hot dogs, sweets, and beauty products alongside her regular job as a school administrative assistant. Meanwhile, Nunes would go to school every day, but she was addicted to sports and was an excellent striker. I mean, imagine that. The most devastating female striker in MMA history was an incredible striker in soccer.
Oh, that's it. And that's it.
However, her soccer dreams were interrupted by frequent street fights. Her mother didn't mind her fighting because she was also a boxer when she was younger, but she preferred her daughter did it in a safer environment. That decision would change Nunes' life forever. Number 7. How she started MMA. Fighting was in Nunes' blood. Not only was her mother a boxer, but her uncle, Jose Silva, was a Vale Tudo fighter. Nunes' mother would often corner him for his fights. When Nunes was 16, she started jiu-jitsu. Her sister Vanessa was already training in the martial arts, so it was a no-brainer for Nunes to follow her. And that moment changed her life forever. Soon after, Nunes moved to Salvador and lived with her sister. But eventually, Nunes found herself living inside the Edson Carvalho gym. Her father didn't like the idea of Nunes fighting, but after seeing her talent for it, he came around and began to support her dreams. She was the only female training at Carvalho's gym and would wake up at 4:30 in the morning every day to help her coach and other training partners clean the mats for the first class of the day. She began to win jiu-jitsu tournaments and earned her blue, purple, and brown belts. After that, she started to dabble in boxing, adding that dangerous martial art to her tool belt. On March 8, 2008, Amanda entered an MMA ring for the first time. But unlike other future greats, she started off with a big blunder, as she lost in just 35 seconds. But like all great fighters, she picked herself back up and was back in the ring 3 months later, and won in just 11 seconds. She would go on to have a meteoric rise in Brazil, winning 5 straight with devastating knockouts. Number 6. Career achievements. In sports, there aren't too many indisputable greatest of all time, but Amanda Nunes is definitely one of the exceptions, as she is the greatest female mixed martial arts fighter of all time. With a record of 22-5, she has 13 KOs and 4 submission wins to her name. Her array of accomplishments include being a 2-time UFC Bantamweight champion and defending her belt 5 times. She is also the first woman to win titles in 2 different weight classes and hold them simultaneously. She is also the first woman to defend both her titles simultaneously. She holds the record for the longest combined UFC title reign of all time and is tied for the most wins in UFC women's history. She also holds the record for the most KO wins in bantamweight history and most finishes in UFC women's history. These are just a handful of the records she holds, so there is no doubt that she is on the Mount Rushmore of women's fighters. But let's see if she has been getting paid like an all-time great. Number 5. Career earnings. For her very first fight in the UFC, she earned $12,000 for beating Sheila Gaff in the very first round. Her first $50,000 performance of the night bonus came in 2015 when she submitted Sarah McMahon in the first round. She earned a total of $97,000 that night. At UFC 200, Amanda Nunes became the UFC champion for the first time and netted a $100,000 along with a $50,000 performance of the night bonus. Now the bonuses and big checks would continue, as she KO'd Ronda Rousey in just 48 seconds in her first title defense. For her efforts, she collected $200,000. The night she made history and became the first female champ by knocking out Chris Cyborg at UFC 232, Amanda earned $350,000 and a $50,000 bonus. The good times continued as she beat Holly Holm in her next fight and took home nearly $600,000.
Nunes was... Oh! Huge head kick for Nunes!
For her most recent title win against Julianna Peña, Nunes netted $442,000. Now, these aren't multi-million-dollar checks as most champions get in sports, but still it's far better than fighting for free on the streets of Brazil. Besides, there is also sponsorship money to consider. Number 4, endorsements. Apart from appearing in several Modelo commercials, she also represents the drink brand Celsius energy drink. Nunes' nutritional needs are all covered by Yamamoto Nutrition, while her meal plans are sorted by Trifecta. And if you know anything about MMA weight cuts, Trifecta is the real hero of the camp, while she is also the brand ambassador for the new UFC partner Tokyo Time Headwear. It's too bad that the UFC doesn't allow personalized sponsorship gear inside the octagon anymore, otherwise her shorts would be covered with brand names. But still, there is no shortage of sponsorship deals and offers coming in for the greatest female mixed martial artist of all time. Even her social media presence matches her stardom. Number 3, social media presence. On Instagram, Nunes has over 1.6 million followers. This includes fan support from all over the world, but particularly from her native country of Brazil, as she was the very first female Brazilian UFC champion. Nunes proudly represents her home country every chance she gets. While on Twitter, she has almost 400,000 followers. And every chance she gets, Nunes spreads a positive message on her social media, while attempting her best to stay in touch with all of her supporters. Her feed is full of behind-the-scenes pictures and videos of her grueling training, highlights from her many wins, and of course pictures of her beautiful family. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the champ's incredible family. Number 2, personal life. Amanda Nunes is the first openly gay UFC champion. She met her partner Nina Nunes in training. Amanda recalls how her life was just sleeping and training when she met Nina, and at first, she saw her as competition, as Nunes was the main female fighter in the gym. Soon enough, the two became mutual friends after an aggressive sparring session. It didn't take long for Amanda to realize that Nina was more than her punching bag, and in fact, she credits Nina for helping her get better every day. Nina herself had aspirations of being a UFC champion, but after meeting Amanda, she changed her plans to help Amanda not only get better, but also to learn English and relax outside the gym every now and then. Soon after that, the two began dating, and in September 2020, they welcomed their first child, Reagan Ann Nunes. Number 1, her net worth. Amanda Nunes is no doubt one of the most successful MMA fighters of all time. This includes both in terms of accomplishments and also financially. Women's MMA was relatively new when Nunes made her rise to the top, but since establishing herself as one of the greats, she had took home some incredibly wealthy paychecks, not to mention the sponsorship opportunities. So if we take into consideration both of those factors, we can estimate that her net worth is somewhere around the $5 million mark. As she nears the end of her fighting career, it's clear that she has set herself and her beautiful family up for an incredible future. And you would expect nothing less from the Lioness. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. With that being said, you just watched us break down Amanda Nunes' story and lifestyle. We'll see you next time.